Some music critics have claimed that the new Sleep Token album is nothing more than a darker rehash of Imagine Dragons? Now, I have nothing against Imagine Dragons, but to me, Sleep Token is one of the most unique and genre-defying acts to come out in many years, so the comparison to a pop anthem powerhouse was disrespectful if you ask me. So I did some detective work to find out whether this comparison was justified. Am I giving Sleep Token too much credit? How similar are these two groups really? In this video, we'll break down the core structure of each band's sound. I compared the harmonic progression between each band's top tracks. I even used a bot to rate how rich and complex their lyrics are, so stay tuned for those shocking results. Is Sleep Token simply dressing up pop hits in darker clothes? Let's find out. The first step was to figure out how the heck to make this comparison. Music is subjective, and I'm clearly a Sleep Token fan. So instead of rambling on about how much I love them, I wanted to break this down systematically. In a nutshell, we can think of music in three parts: the music, the meaning, and the vibes. We're oversimplifying, sure, but music boils down to the sounds we make, the stories we tell, and the special touches we add, like which instruments or electronic effects to choose. It's basic, but it's a start. Musically, we can look at chord progressions to provide the general structure, mood, and movement of the music. If you're a musician, it's obvious that Sleep Token use very clever chordal structures that are uncommon in pop music. But to most listeners, this might not be so obvious. So I checked out the top tracks from each artist and essentially counted how many chords each band uses. Now, of course, this won't tell us which band is better. That's totally subjective. But it will give us insight into whether or not their songs are structured similarly. So let's take a look at the top 5 Imagine Dragons songs. Their number 1 song, Bones, uses 4 chords throughout the entire track. The next song, Believer, mostly used 3 chords, but there were 3 more in this tiny little bridge section. The next song, Demons, 4 chords, all the way through. Their 4th track, Enemy, used 2 chords throughout the entire track. When I looked at Sleep Token's chordal structure, it was even more complex than I thought it would be. So much so that I had to stop at 2 tracks just to wrap my head around it. The Summoning actually starts off with a riff that you could consider just a single chord. But then the chorus alone uses 4 new chords. At the end of the chorus, there's this fun riff between the guitars and the drums that covers something like 8 totally unique chords. And then another new chord on the metal breakdown. Two minutes into the track is a total shift in sound with this groovy, somewhat jazzy Pink Floyd type section that features another few chords. And we haven't even gotten to the smooth and sexy R&B breakdown that we covered in our previous video. So I can definitely understand if someone doesn't like this sound. It's certainly a lot to take in. But to call it bland and compare it to the extremely simple music that is Imagine Dragons, that's just not true. Okay, that's enough chord talk. After all, most people care more about the lyrics, the story, and how the music makes them feel. If you've listened to the latest Sleep Token album, you know it deals with heartbreak and lost love. I didn't know much about Imagine Dragons lyrics coming in, but I found out they sing about stuff like personal struggles, relationships, and feeling down. So there are some similarities. But what about the words themselves, the artistic expression, and the poetry involved in songwriting? In an effort to remove my personal bias, I used a bot to analyze the lyrical complexity of the band's top songs. This isn't to say that complexity is better, but my guess is these two bands are very different in their lyrical expression as well. So I used a bot that computes something called lexical density. It's just a fancy term for how complex the language in something is. Here are the measurements of the top 4 Imagine Dragons tracks. according to how creative and expressive their lyrics are. A higher number means the words were more complex.
Give me some time to think. I'm in the bathroom looking at me. Facing the mirror is all I need. First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. When the days are cold and the cards all fold and the saints we see are all made of. I wake up to the sounds of the silence that allows for my mind to run around with my ear up to the ground. I'm searching to behold the stories that I told when my back is...
Where do you think the top Sleep Token tracks fell on this scale? My guess was they'd be in the 35 to 40 range based on these results.
I've got a river running right into you. I've got a blood trail red in the blue. Sulfur on your breath, grinding in my chest. You will never have to talk about it. When we were made, it was no accident. Well, my love is an animal cold, cutting through the darkness, bouncing off the walls, between teeth on a broken...
Okay, so we've broken down some major differences between the two bands. We've learned that the entire structure of their musical compositions, as well as their poetic creativity, are vastly different. So where is the Sleep Token Imagine Dragons comparison coming from? What's remaining basically comes down to style. Both groups utilize a blend of electronic sounds, trap-style drum beats, and soaring synth lines as a common theme. And they both have some catchy melodies that will keep you hooked and humming along throughout your day. But where else do the similarities lie? Can we say that any group that uses electronic sounds and catchy melodies are the same? Wouldn't that be like saying the Rolling Stones are the same as Pink Floyd because they're both from the same era and use similar instrumentation? Also, I don't hear Imagine Dragons pulling out the 8-string guitar for any Meshuggah-style chugginess the way Sleep Token does. Nor do I hear anything close to the smooth and intricate jazz piano that Sleep Token uses. I'm also not hearing any super rich, complex vocal harmonies.
Do you remember me? When the rain gathers.
And don't get me started on Sleep Token's drummer. Again, I have nothing against Imagine Dragons or other chart-topping rock groups. There might be surface-level similarities between the two, but Take Me Back to Eden has so much more depth, emotion, creativity, complexity, and is so much more ambitious. Now, of course, the examples I gave are not the end of the story. It's tough to catch everything in a single video, so let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this comparison. If you're enjoying this channel, I think you'll also enjoy the hangouts I host on Twitch. There I stream drum covers, jam sessions, and live music reactions like you see on this channel. I also have a Patreon page where you can pledge your support and receive access to works in progress on these videos and also some Q&As that we do on the side. So check out the description below to drop a follow on my Twitch and consider supporting on Patreon as well. As always, stay curious, take care of yourself, and we'll catch you in the next video.